Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox On Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just, fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top out and swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lancelin got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
Hello, White Sox fans. Welcome in. Johnny Nani here alongside Tony Marchese with the Sox On Tap postgame show discussing a White Sox 9-3 beatdown of the Minnesota Twins here on Tuesday, May 11th. Tony, first of all, first things first, crack 'em. Victory beers always taste so good. First one against the Twins this year. Cheers to many more, my friend.
Cheers, Johnny. What an excellent win. What a great baseball game today that we watched the White Sox play. I love the response they had to some early adversity in this one. I love beating the Minnesota Twins. I think that goes without saying, Johnny. I'm excited to break this one down with you. And cheers, like you said, crack 'em. Victory beers, like you said, do taste that much sweeter.
Yeah, they always do taste sweeter. And, especially this is the first time we are playing these Minnesota Twins this year in 2021. Obviously, a lot more condensed. Last year opened up against them, this one, and it will be a little bit condensed this year as well because we will play them in kind of a short amount of time, and then it gets only a few series at the very end, tail end of the series, so at the end of the season. So good to start it off on a right foot here. First of all, my first number one, since we are first game against the Twins, my first initial thoughts here, Tony, is fuck the Twins. And one thing that I said to you individually as we were talking today was that right now, with the Twins being down and out as they are struggling, no doubt about it. It's been well documented, their early season struggles. But the White Sox needed to do as much as they could to mathematically widen this gap as much as humanly possible, because the Minnesota Twins are way too talented to not go on a run in June, July, August, whenever it may be. And make up some of this ground, and you never know what the White Sox status will be then, if they have injuries or a slump or what have you. So I thought this was huge in setting the tone for that.
I thought it was too, Johnny. And this goes back to, our Shy Sox weekly days, man, where we've talked about this and we've preached this. You got to beat the teams in your division. Those games count more when it comes towards the playoff race. And the White Sox have had trouble with the Minnesota Twins over the past few years, Johnny, and they've always seemed to, it goes back even farther than that, Johnny. It almost feels like most of our lives, the Minnesota Twins have always been there to kind of fuck things up. And I think that's why we hate them a little extra. We hate them a little bit more. It's fun to go say Detroit sucks, because they do. It's a different story when we're facing the Minnesota Twins. And we know that. They've just seemed to be that team that's been a thorn in our side. The names just ring out, man. Like I hate Torrey Hunter still to this day. It's just the Minnesota Twins, man. You want to beat them, and wins like today, man. They just feel that much better.
Yeah, they absolutely do, Tony. And what makes me feel even better is now the White Sox have the best record in the American League at 20-13 after tonight's win. Now, Boston and Oakland both have more wins at 22-15, but when you go by that winning percentage, who has the best record there, the White Sox are at there, and obviously out of their control with some weather delays, postponements that they have had here, kind of in the early going of things here. But I wanted to point that out. And now the Twins are 12-21, 8 games back of the Sox in first. That goes back to the point that I made initially, and that is widening this gap as much as possible. So I love to see the Twins struggling. I love pouring it on them, but once again, I'm not writing them off because they are too talented to not go on a run at some point. So that just makes these games so much more important, like we're about to get into here. And then another one here is that you talk about the Twins being a thorn in the White Sox side for so long. And kind of PTSD from your growing up days of, the big names. And at the old Metrodome too, seemed like I told Kins the other night, our guy, Andrew Kinsler, that seems like Torrey Hunter would rob like 10 home runs a year from the White Sox. Just seemed like that would be the case up at the Metrodome. But even as soon as early as 2019 Memorial Day series. Remember, a 4-game weekend set, Thursday through Sunday, that they go up to Minnesota and get their asses handed to them. And granted, a little bit different state of the White Sox during that time, but still, against a division rival, that just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Very nice to kind of get a little cleanse here in the first meeting in 2021.
It does, Johnny. And I think that just sets the tone. I mean, this is the first time these two teams have faced each other. The White Sox, obviously a different team than we've seen over the past 2 years. Last year, obviously, they played the Twins just a little bit better, but they were still neck and neck. And the Minnesota Twins come out in this 2021 season and have just struggled to find their footing so far, despite even somewhat adding to their ball club, Johnny. And the White Sox have been just plagued by injuries. We know it. We talk about Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez. You've seen Lance Lynn go down. There's been different injuries that have been about this ball club, but the Minnesota Twins are also beating up themselves. Buxton is on the shelf right now, as well as their top prospect in Alex Kirilloff. So you catch the Minnesota Twins at a good time here. You come out in this game today, Johnny, and the Twins started to do some of the same shit that they've done to the White Sox in the past. And they jump out to a 3-run lead here, Johnny. I think the most important thing in this ball game, before we go and dissect things inning by inning or play by play, scoring play wise, the thing that stood out to me the most was the White Sox response to what looked like a lackluster performance that led to some Minnesota runs. And White Sox teams past, you've seen a team fold underneath those circumstances. Tonight they battled back and they ended up shellacking the shit out of the Minnesota Twins in a game that could have gotten away from them. And I think that's what's most important, and that's what makes the biggest statement.
Yeah, and I think there needs to be kudos there in talking about the dynamics of how they got to that point, Tony, of being able to shut that down and kind of not let it bleed, so to say, is the pitching. And all from, all the guys that were involved in those high leverage situations. Obviously, Dylan Cease and multiple of them. You had guys that came in after that in, Foster kind of got himself into a little bit of a jam, but then Crochet comes in, cleans up some mess. Cody Hoyer, he comes into a little bit of a, situation where he's able to work himself out of something. And then Aaron Bummer, too, looking solid as well, which is extremely encouraging, especially after some of his early season blunders. So we're going to get into all of this, run down how the scoring happened here. But before we do, a little housekeeping here at On Tap Sportsnet, make sure you're going and visiting our website at ontapsportsnet.com. That's where you can find all of our White Sox articles and all of our articles about Chicago sports and all the other topics we cover in general there. ontapsportsnet.com is the place to go. And then if you need White Sox merchandise, Grandstand Sox is the place to go. You can visit them online to shop there at grandstandsox.com and follow their social media at Grandstand Sox, where they do post a lot of the cool new items and stuff that they have in stock there. So go and make sure you're following them at Grandstand Sox on social media. So, Tony, let's break into this one here. And it was the top of the second when the scoring would start. Polanco with a 1-out solo shot makes it 1-0 Twins. And then after that, it would kind of be a string of Dylan Cease loses command a little bit here. He does kind of adversity that you talked about. Aforementioned Larnach walks, and then a fly ball down the line between Grandal and Moncada, and not able to corral that thing there. Estudillo singles and Simmons singles as well. Rotvert with a hit by pitch that makes it 2-0. There would be a sac fly by Arias to make it 3-0 here, but luckily Madrigal cuts down Simmons at third on the relay here. But either way, down 3-0 in the top of the second here. And this was kind of the point that you had mentioned earlier. Where you're like, oh shit, like, is this team going to let it slip away, or are they going to respond here? And obviously we know the answer ultimately, but after this, it's still feeling a little uneasy, a little queasy in the stomach, I would say.
Yeah, and I think what's really disappointing is for a second there, you get a great first inning out of Dylan Cease, an inning that you love to see from a guy that has been touched up by the Minnesota Twins in the first 2 innings in previous starts before Johnny. And you just want to see him come out and dominate and continue to do what he's doing, because he's been such a great story this year for this ball club. You want to see him continue down that path, and you get into the second inning and all sorts of hell starts to break loose on you. It just feels like anytime games go that route, with those same narrative lines, like the Dylan Cease second inning or big inning that he gives up, that just derails the team. You don't want to go down that path. And it felt for a minute there, Johnny, like I'm having flashbacks. This is deja vu of, 2019, 2020, 2018, those types of things. Those memories live on in White Sox fans' minds, Johnny, and I think that's what just kind of exemplifies it. Makes you get a little bit scared. That queasy feeling.
An inning like that is certainly one that would be like those years past, like you just mentioned there. But luckily, the White Sox would answer right back in the bottom of the second. Jose Abreu leads off with the single. Yerman Mercedes walks, and then Tony, I had the wardrobe ready. Yasmani Grandal, 3-run shot, right field. Let's go to the moon.
Let's just talk about how much, number one, I love fireworks, and I've got to crack them for the fireworks. Got to crack them for the fireworks. Cheers. I said this Saturday night, Johnny. We were talking I was talking with Buzz on the show, and we got into a little bit of the Grandal discussion and where I was with this. And I talked about the importance of getting on base. And I've seen some stuff going back and forth on Twitter. I'm sure you have as well. A lot of people want to criticize Yasmani Grandal because he's not swinging the bat. Ozzie Guillen's one of them. He did it on the postgame show. He wants to see him swing the bat a little bit more. You've got the other camp. You've got Jordan Lazowski over there at Sox on 35th, who every time Yasmani Grandal walks asks why we like Yasmani Grandal. I love that bit. That's a good bit because he gets on base. I love the movie. I love the undertones to that one. But the thing with Yasmani Grandal, Johnny, that I'm at is I love seeing him take the walks. Add the hitting piece. Add what you saw tonight. You've got the complete package. You've got it right there. And he has the ability to do exactly what he did tonight. And that just makes the lineup that much more dangerous. He's a more complete player than Zach Collins. He's got the talent, man. He was the big free agent signing. There's a reason he's here.
Yeah. Yep.
You saw it on display tonight. And how sexy was it, Johnny? How sexy was it?
I was going nuts. I was still out to eat at that point, and I apologize to no one in the restaurant that I was at, the local establishment that I was at. But luckily, a lot of Sox fans there, so they were cheering alongside me. So excellent to see. And like you said, just the pop, the power that's there. And Zach Collins can put the ball out of the ballpark as well. We saw it over the weekend in Kansas City. But hey, you get Yasmani Grandal hot, and there you go. That is a huge supplement to the losses that you've had there in Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez in the power department, man. Dude, I was looking back because I was looking for some like merchandise, some Yasmani Grandal specific merchandise, very similar to the headband that I have here, but just going back through some of his Twitter posts, and like there was like some stats from like his 2019 Brewers days that were just ridiculous about some of the stretches that he went on. So you get him going on one of those stretches here for the White Sox in 2020, are building on what they've already done so far. And obviously, like there's been some tumultuous times early on in the season, but overall, I think we can all sit back and be like, damn, the record that I listed off earlier, best in the AL right now is in win percentage at the 20-13 mark there. You get him going there. And then Jose Abreu, another guy who we have still yet to get to here in this post-game show, Tony. And I think that is a recipe for success for the White Sox and a cause to fear for the rest of the league. So this is where we were at in the bottom of the second here. That would be, like I mentioned, a 3-3 tie after this. Unfortunately, Vaughn thrown out at home to kind of wrap up that inning. But either way, I think the send was still warranted there. Next scoring would not come until the bottom of the sixth, until the other guy that I mentioned there, Mr. former MVP, Jose Abreu, coming up after a Moncada one-out walk. He launches one to left field after earlier in the game, kind of sending one out to right center that got robbed. Nice play by Max Kepler. Kind of questionable. Well, would have gotten out, would have not. I think Kepler needed to make the play regardless. But on this one, made no doubt, puts it out to left center. And this is the game-winning hit tonight, Tony.
Just your casual, everyday MVP shit, Johnny. Jose Abreu, man. Like there's nothing more there than just MVP shit. He walks it, he talks it, he does it, it gets done. Jose Abreu, when he goes, this team goes. And you saw it again tonight, man. And there's nothing too special about it. It's not overstated. It's just your casual, everyday MVP shit.
You know what I love too is the reaction in the dugout when he came back in, and that was him and Frank Menachino embracing, and they had a moment there, and you could tell that was kind of like a, hey, might be something that we talked about in the cage or whatever, in pregame warmups or something like that, and it was executed on the field, and you could tell how excited they both were for that.
Yeah. I love it. He's just a hard worker, Johnny, and I think that's what. You've seen the promo videos coming out from the White Sox of him working with guys like Eloy, Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada, all these guys that look up to him as a leader. Those are those intangibles. He's working towards stuff. He didn't have the April that he wanted to. He didn't have the April fans wanted him to, but he's still come through for this team in multiple spots and put up game-winning hits, Johnny, and that's what you expect out of Jose Abreu at this point in time in the middle of that lineup.
I mean, he's your MVP. So MVP shit, as you just mentioned there, that's huge. So as we move along in this one, the White Sox would strike more in the bottom of the seventh when things kind of unraveled a little bit for the Minnesota Twins here. And that was Vaughn with the leadoff walk. Garcia sacking him over to second, and Billy Hamilton being the pinch runner after Vaughn had got on. He swipes third, and Madrigal pops out, but Timmy coming through clutch, kind of really getting around on an inside pitch, putting it out to left field to make it 6-3. And then we see a play, Tony, and we need to elaborate on this because this is the kind of shit the White Sox would do against the Twins, and it would cost us, and we'd all be embarrassed as White Sox fans. Now it is so nice to talk about this and one, slander the Twins, and then two, let their fans be embarrassed about it because Adam Eaton sends a ball out to right field as a blooper. I think it would have dropped in for a single regardless, but either way, you get Garlick out there misplaying it, diving past it. Polanco, when he tries to pick it up, is kind of all sort of discombobulated, can't field it, and Eaton gets the third on this one, and the White Sox would tack on. They would wait until next day to tack on another one. But either way, it just looked ugly. It was an ugly play, and I loved the Summer of George gift that he put out. It was the Twister one. It looked like that's what they looked like they were doing because they had three guys there, Kepler, Garlick, and Polanco all out there. Kind of playing Twister with each other. So just talk about how nice this is to see this happen for a opponent instead of against, for the White Sox.
It brings just such a smile to my face, man. Just watching it just brings a smile to my face watching them be the ones that look like the clown show. That's all it is. It's just fun to watch because you're right, man. This was us for so long. And now it's them. Man, it just feels good to be on the other side of it, but also to know that you still won the game without them screwing up. This was just insult to injury.
Yeah, most definitely there. And like you said, the winning runs were already across the plate at this point. But either way, I think this is huge in that it made the situations coming up for the relievers less high leverage here.
Oh, yeah. Insurance runs are cool and tough.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into the pitching in a little bit here. I'll just one more on the White Sox, adding on a couple more. And that was in the bottom of the eighth. You get a Lurie Garcia RBI single after some guys had gotten on with the Abreu leadoff hit by pitch and Mercedes single. And then you get Madrigal with an RBI single as well to make it 9-3. That's how all the scoring would unfold in this one. But I think it's important to get to the pitching in here. Let's talk about Dylan Cease first. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts total. I believe that was the final line here for Mr. Dylan Cease. So what did you like from him, and how did you like his response to a little bit of adversity in this one?
Love the response to it. Love the start to this game. I think this is the Dylan Cease that if you don't have his best shit, this is slightly the tier under it for you. I love, like you said, the response, man. I think that's the most important thing for him is to just keep that confidence because he knows right now that his shit can play at the MLB level, and he's so dangerous. That curve tonight, man, just looked absolutely filthy in so many different spots. He's got the tools to be a guy that can go 6 innings, 7 innings in a major league game and be effective because he has that type of arsenal, Johnny. you even see it when he doesn't have his secondary stuff. He's still so effective that it's just he's a guy that has the potential, I think, to be above what he is in this rotation right now. And when you put it together like he has so far early this year, you're going to get just great returns from the back end of your rotation. Kim Chi-Sale coming in here. He made Simmons look silly. He made a lot of guys look silly tonight.
Yeah.
He even got Cruz out in the first on a filthy pitch. So there's so much talent there. I don't think he's got the stuff to be a refined number 1, number 2 guy, Johnny. But right now, you get what you get out of him and the offense works. We talk about recipes for success. That's one right there. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be dominant every single time. But when you can overcome that with a little bit of offensive output and you get, 5 solid innings and maybe 1 shaky one, and you can use the defense to minimize the damage, that's all you need out of Dylan Cease for right now.
Yeah, and just kind of building on the kind of Sal's comment here, he said, yes, we made Andrelton Simmons look extremely silly there, and that was in the top of the 4th. He strikes out the side there, and just absolutely ugly swings by both Astrodillo and Simmons there. Obviously, Simmons being the kind of sword one that ends up on pitching ninja there. So, yes, thank you, Sal, for that comment. I did want to touch on that. But also, an extremely nice changeup against Polanco to get out of the top of the 5th because, the 4th, like I mentioned, was a strike out of the side. So, that was nice, clean inning there. But in the 5th, it faced a little adversity after Arias leadoff single. He did get Donaldson to strike out, but then Cruz singled, and then you got a guy in Kepler that grounds into a force at second, and you got guys in second and third after a steal, and Polanco getting him to strike out on a changeup, especially there. I think that was huge as well. So I think that closes the book on Dylan Cease, like you mentioned. Already read off his line there. Gets a no decision in tonight's game, but still nice to see, even with kind of the shit not completely there, still being able to beat a team like the Minnesota Twins. And despite their record, as I had mentioned earlier in the show, they're better than that, just talent level wise. So I think we can all at least acknowledge that as White Sox fans. As much as we like to dump on them, we know that why do we care so much? Why are we so invested against them?
Because
we know they're good.
Yes.
We know their division last year. They won the division the year before. We know they are. And sure, the standings right now might not reflect that, but we know that. So I just wanted to kind of get into that. Matt Foster, a little bit of rough go out for him. He gets in to start the 6th, gets himself into a little bit of trouble. But luckily, Tony, Garrett Crochet is in to save the day. Comes in with 1 out, 1st and 3rd in the 6th, completely shuts the door on these guys. And that was with, a Garver fly out. So he got that, induced that, and then an extremely nice slider to walk off the mound. How cool is that? Fear the mustache on that Arias K.
Yeah, fear the mustache. Garrett Crochet working on a mustache. We determined it before we got on the show. Garrett Crochet could be the mustache reliever guy or just mustache guy for this team that it's so desperately lacking. Mustache guy coming through. The velocity's back. He had that little stint on the IL. We've been talking about it just within our own circles that he didn't look right to start this year. I've been wondering if he's got some lingering effects from whatever happened in Oakland or prior to that from last season. But the velocity was a tick up tonight. Garrett Crochet looked absolutely lethal. And he's got the mustache working for him. Look out, AL Central. That's all I've got to say.
I love that. Well, let's move into Cody Hoyer in to start the 7th. He records 2 outs in this one. It was Cruz had a 1-out single. Kepler flew out after that, and then Polanco singled, and that brought Aaron Bummer into the game here. So not terrible from Cody Hoyer, but also you need Aaron Bummer to come in and clean this up. This is something that on Friday night's postgame show, Steve and I were on that together, and we were talking about a very nice outing from Aaron Bummer, and we were talking about stringing these together, getting these consistently, and this is huge, having Aaron Bummer come in and absolutely shut the door here. And that was, despite a Madrigal error, because Garlick hit a ground ball to second base and Madrigal had the little bobble. So luckily, Astrodillo after that a little swing happy and goes after the first pitch and grounds out Tim Anderson on that one. But then Aaron Bummer with the 1-2-3, no bullshit inning after that comes in. So what did you have? 1 1/3 in this one. So thoughts on Bummer here? Because Ruiz would come in, lock it down in the low leverage situation, like we mentioned. The offense afforded him. So I think Bummer is a more point of focus here.
Yeah, Aaron Bummer is such a key to this bullpen. I talked about it a little bit with Buzz as well Saturday night that Tony La Russa has multiple options that he can go to. You've got the Evan Marshall route. You've got the Aaron Bummer route. You've got the Michael Kopech route. When all three of those are working, this bullpen is going to be as dangerous as we thought it was. And just to rehash everything, when you have to start burning guys from multiple routes to get to that ninth inning, Liam Hendricks, or as Jose Ruiz has become, the ninth inning mop-up man, which I love that role for him, Johnny. I think that it fits him very well. He's got the stuff to get it done, and you don't have to use a premium arm in a ninth inning. That's perfect for Jose Ruiz. On the flip side, he could be your blowout game. You're trying to waste one, but I don't see the White Sox playing in so many of those. So you still do need that guy to mop up some innings just on the opposite side, Johnny, from what we're used to. But Aaron Bummer, man, if he's effective, he might be that number 2 best reliever in your bullpen, pure stuff wise, Johnny. I mean, that movement on that slider is just absolutely wicked, and it can put hitters away so easily when it's on. When it's automatic, man, it's automatic.
Yeah, it's nasty. That's nasty. Cleveland Brown boys.
There's nothing to even describe it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for teams that have to come in game 1 and know that you might get Michael Kopech out of the bullpen, and then game 2 you're probably getting Aaron Bummer. That should scare you.
Yeah, I agree. One point that we need to talk about here with another, thank you to Sal for the comment. White Sox Sal, like TLR bullpen management tonight. I loved it. I'll go as far as say that I loved it, and I thought it was absolutely perfect, and I think he deserves some praise from it because we might be the only ones who will ever give it to him. Tony, muted.
There was nothing to complain about from TLR tonight, Johnny. Nothing at all. And I thought the bullpen management was absolutely flawless. I guess I was commenting on it right there with his use of Ruiz in the ninth. No complaints.
I just think the decisions to go away from Foster after you realize you didn't have it, and then also with Bummer there, sure, Hoyer is a capable arm, but you come in and you get the sure thing with Aaron Bummer there.
Yep.
I agree, and I think that it was excellent, and I love the bullpen management from Tony La Russa tonight. So I will give some props there. Overall here, though, it just feels good to beat the Twins. I think that's first and foremost, first time we're seeing them this year. I got 2 more against those guys coming up, and we'll preview this game 2 here in a second. But final thoughts from this game, Tony. Nice to kind of flip the script on the Twins and not be the feels like we've been on the other side of too many of these. That's my bottom line.
Yeah, we have. We definitely have. I think the resilience, the ability to battle back in a game where you're down early when your opponent puts up a crooked number, the ability to get out of that inning with a great defensive play, cutting a runner down at third base, come back out there. You've got your MVP doing MVP shit. This team's firing on what seems like all cylinders, even though they're beaten up right now, Johnny, and they're not unbeatable. Absolutely not. They're not an unbeatable team. You're going to lose games over the course of a season. But you start winning games like this where it could have easily gone in a totally different direction. When you're sitting there early on in a game, your starter's struggling in the second against a team like the Minnesota Twins, who you said it has that type of talent to beat you. The resilience and the ability to battle back, that's a mentality thing that's very encouraging from a young team and a team that's hot right now, to not just pack it in, because a lot of different things could have gone a lot of different ways tonight, and it could be a totally different game that we're talking about. But this team was able to battle back, get themselves in the lead, and then just continue to kick this team when they're down. And I think that's so important. So important, Johnny.
Yeah,
kick them when they're down.
A new AC/DC track, right? You kick me
Oh,
when you're down.
yeah.
Kick them while they're down. Absolutely.
While
That's what when we do the wrap up on Wednesday of this series, we want to be able to title that episode "Kick them while they're down" and with a sweep of the Minnesota Twins. So good start tonight with that. Another point for that hellacious effort is what I would describe for all the reasons that you mentioned. And then number 3, Yasmani Grandal. Welcome back, baby. Love to see you getting there with a long ball out to right to kind of tie this game up in the second inning there. So hopefully that is the start of a little bit of a hot stretch. But if not, keep getting on base, baby. If it ain't working for you at the plate, sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes you're just in a bit of a rut when it comes to seeing the ball, driving it to gaps, which he needs to do, obviously, because he's not a speed guy. He's not beating out infield singles like Tim Anderson or Nick Madrigal.
Last question I have on this, Johnny. Like, for all the people who don't want him to walk, do they want him to strike out? Like, is that the alternative?
No, they want him to get hit. So I understand their plight too. I totally
get that. I get that as well.
The thing is, Yasmani Grandal on, I believe it was Saturday night, still added at least 2+ win probability without getting a hit, and that was with his eyes and with a sac fly. So it's like there's still some value there, and like you see the OBP there. So obviously you saw it much greater tonight when you hit one out of the ballpark. That adds way more than that. But I'm just saying, it can still come in multiple avenues there.
The stat line looks weird now, Johnny, but when over the course of your baseball watching career has a stat line that looked just absolutely like video game-esque ever been sustainable over the course of a full season? One of two things will happen here. The walk rate will come down and he's going to look absolutely fucking terrible. Or the batting average is going to come up and he's going to look fucking phenomenal. Those are the options there. I'll take the latter there as being the more likely option. The more likely option.
Yeah. So I like that. We can wrap that up here tonight. Once again, White Sox defeat the Twins 9-3 to open the series here on Tuesday, May 11th. As we're moving into Game 2 of this series, it will be Wednesday, May 12th, 7:10 p.m. Central Time start on NBC Sports Chicago, where you can stream and watch on TV. As we get into the matchup here, it is J.A. Happ, a lefty, going for the Twins against Dallas Keuchel, another lefty for the White Sox. But we know the story, the kind of timeline, and it is very well warranted, worth all of the hype that the White Sox destroy lefties, and they'd done it all of last season, early on in this season for the most part, outside of one Mike Minor start against the Sox early on in this 2021 campaign. Sox are, entering today, 295, 370, 465 slash line with a 137 weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitchers. Tony, I foresee that happening and continuing on that trend tomorrow, because the White Sox just crush lefties, just flat out.
If there's something that the White Sox know they like, if there's one thing that they're confident in, it's that they want a lefty on the mound.
So this is sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off before I hand it off, but this is one area where we need to say this is a very positive hashtag That's So White Sox thing.
Yes.
That's So White Sox in the White Sox crushing left-handed pitching.
Yes, it is. I think they've only had one loss over like 2 years against left-handed starting pitchers. Unreal, just unreal stats. And again, I go back to things that may not be sustainable over the course of a baseball season. That was one of them that was last year and still has been this year sustainable for the White Sox to compete against left-handed pitching and just dominate it. The lineup just mashes that way, Johnny. I'm not going to mess with things that are working. I don't know what the magic is here. To tell you the truth, I don't know what the magic is, but I wouldn't bet against them tomorrow.
No, I wouldn't either. And I would, I'm getting early into this, but I would go a guy like Tim Anderson, someone who can feast off of it.
Yeah.
It's a right-handed hitter. Jose Abreu, another one.
Yep.
Obviously, he had a home run tonight. So I would go Tim Anderson here for my very early pick to click here. Let's get yours out since we're doing this right away.
What's really funny too, Johnny, is that I prefer Yohan Moncada and Yasmani Grandal on the left side of the plate, which means you've got a righty on the mound. And that's where I feel like they're the most optimal. And then the White Sox just seem to beat lefties. That's what's weird to me. That's what's really weird to me. So every time I hear lefty on the mound, I try and stay away from Yohan Moncada just because I think the left-handed bat drop just might be more sexy than the right-handed home run from either of those guys. There's just something about a left-handed hitter. Maybe it's the Ken Griffey Jr. effect. Not sure exactly what it is, but
that's definitely it.
I'm going to go with Yohan Moncada tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to see him put one either in a gap or, the right-handed home run.
Well,
you
know what I think the thing is too, and we're talking about picks to click overall, is that a left-handed hitter, a left-handed pitcher to start for the opponent, is that you assume that the White Sox will hit them fairly well and get that guy out of the game, and then if there's a righty reliever in, boom, there you go. That's Yohan Moncada flipping around to the left side of the plate. Too. So there's multiple moving factors here at play. So I think that wraps up that. But other than that, Dallas Keuchel, let's talk about him real quick. It's going to have to be a lot of ground balls because we saw Dylan Cease able to get some strikeouts in some key spots tonight against some dangerous hitters. So it's not undermine the talent of individual talent of some of these guys, even if their team is not putting it all together for the Minnesota Twins. But Dallas Keuchel is going to have to get ground balls because he struck out one in his last outing against Cincinnati. You are absolutely going to need to, one, keep the ball on the ground, and two, make sure those are recording outs.
Yeah, put the ball in play and just let the defense behind you do their job. This is going to be, I think, a little bit closer than what we saw tonight, Johnny. But I still do think the White Sox will come out on top on this one via an offensive output that is, again, above 5 runs. I think the White Sox offense will come out, score 6 runs, give Dallas some run support. But I think Minnesota is going to be able to strike a little bit more than they did tonight, probably put up 3 or 4 runs against the White Sox. And we're going to have to go into the bullpen and continue to be strong in that area too, because, I think Dallas might get 6-7 out of it. It'd be really nice if we can get that 7-8 mark out of him and just use the defense, keep the pitch count low and save that bullpen as much as you can.
Yeah, utilizing the defense, I think, is huge there. So good point on that. As we've kind of run down all of our points here from a strategic and matchup standpoint, we need to get into fun stuff. And I will be out at the game tomorrow night, so I can't wait. First time back for this homestand. Can't wait. First game against the Twins this year. I will love to be. I will be back in 149, my normal kind of section where I'm at. So I'll be out there if you're out at the ballpark and in that area. Hit me up on Twitter at NaniJohnny. Definitely meet up for a beer or some shit like that. Would definitely love to do that. But other than that, my dad and I, we have been at 2 games this year where Yerman Mercedes has hit absolute friggin' bombs out to left. We're going to be there again tomorrow night. That's combo going. I can foresee that. I didn't use him as my pick to click. I think Tim Anderson at the top of the lineup. I think he'll get me
You can get down there and put some secondary pick to click coin on.
So I'll still stick with TA as my overall pick to click here. But man, Yerman Mercedes, I would not be shocked to see him rock one out of the ballpark, perhaps onto the concourse, perhaps onto the Dan Ryan. Who knows?
He's gonna put one on the Dan Ryan at some point, just because it's the Yerminator.
Yeah, dude, the home runs that we witnessed were the home opener, which obviously everybody knows that was a huge one. The atmosphere was electric. And then the one in the early innings of the Carlos Rodon no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians. We were there live for both of those. So, I mean, the mojo's back in the ballpark. Just got to ride the vibes at that point.
Those might be the 2 most, loudest moments that I've heard, at least from the television this year, from any White Sox game.
You know what I love about those is I was standing up, high-fiving my dad, and so I turned to him because he sits to the right of me and where our seats were. So I stood up as soon as he hit it, I knew it was gone just off the sound. Stood up, turned to the right, high-fived my dad, and then looked back and was still able to see it land. So that's what I'm expecting tomorrow from Yerman.
Just absolute moonshots.
Yeah.
I'll give you the secondary on Yerman there. I hope he comes through. I want to see him continue to mash and just continue the great storylines that this team's had. But, Johnny, I think the White Sox do come out with a win tomorrow. If I'm giving an early prediction, I think you're going to get about a 6-5 victory for the White Sox tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd be in person. So would also love to see that. I would predict a win too. I'll go maybe a little lower. I'll go 5-4. How about that? We're right in that same range there. But yeah, I could definitely foresee both of those outcomes coming out of tomorrow night's game, that being Wednesday, May 12th. So, Tony, I don't got anything else here at Sox on Tap. Last thing is make sure you go to ontapsportsnet.com for all Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Sox on Tap and at OnTap Sportsnet. If you're looking for White Sox merchandise, make sure you are going to Grandstand to get that. That's at grandstandsox.com to shop online, and following them on social media at Grandstand Sox, where they post a lot of their new gear and merch that comes in. So make sure you go and following them at Grandstand Sox and stopping in there after a game right over there, right by the ballpark. So, Tony, great to beat the Twins here. Get off on the right foot against the Central Division opponents. Widen the gap. Kick their ass. That's always good. And kick them while they're down, even more so, because they are the struggling, flailing team right now. Let's not let them get back on track versus us. It would be, it would be. White Sox would still be in a good spot, but it would be deflating if the Twins took the next two games. So I want to continue to bury them while they're down, and I hope that is able to happen tomorrow night, especially against the left-handed pitcher. All signs point to yes for that, but the game still needs to be played on the field. So that's about all I've got here. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.